talent, dog. Now, you know that's my specialty. See, I'm the one that tipped him on Big O and got that fat man out of flipping burgers at Biggie D's. Roy liked what he heard, split some cash out for that nigga's demo, and boom, just like that, Big O got himself a deal, and it's all because of me.
Roy paid for Big O's demo?
Every penny. Look, if they thought Big O was hot, wait till you get a taste of B-Rabbit. Look, I'm building an empire, Jimmy, and I'm taking you with me, man. You're next.
Obi Trice, real name, no gimmicks.
Two trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
Welcome to This Week in PPL. My distaste for Buffalo has grown, but it's really Jed York that I can't stand the most. This is week 6. First up, the undefeated MPO Bashers versus Sharp Street Papenmeyer. This one is quite simple. Drew Brees hauls in a big 4-0 for the Bashers, and running back David Johnson once again impresses with a nice 32.5. Despite the rest of the active roster being somewhat average to below average, it was just simply too much for Papenmeyer to handle. QB Aaron Rodgers came up short with only 13 points, plus low scores from wide receivers Travis Benjamin with only half a point, and Michael Crabtree with just 2 really sealed their fate. Kinda ruins the welcome back party of tight end Rob Gronkowski, who picked up a nice 25.5 in his first game back of the season. Regardless, the Bashers make it 6 and win 134-103. Next up, Bacalao Fritas Piratas Nata versus Buffalo Furacão. This is easily the biggest point margin of the season, and that's thanks in large part to OBJ pulling in a season-high 36 points. The rest of the Furacão active roster did fairly decent, with running back Christine Michael scoring 20.5. The real story in this matchup is how utterly weak the Piratas were, with Russell Wilson chalking up a measly 10 points. Weak performances from running backs Matt Forte with 1.5, Darren Sproles with just 2.5, and wideout Antonio Brown underperforming with just 5 points. Add in a -4 from the Steelers D team, and the final score was an ugly Furacão win, 118.5 to 49.5, and taking sole possession of second place. On to Screamin' Seagulls versus Six Gods. From the biggest blowout of the season to the tightest matchup of the year. On the Gull side, Cam Newton came up big with 30 points, while running back James White packed up 21. Wide receiver Julio Jones returned to form with 22.5, and tight end Colby Fleener also came in strong after a weak performance in week 4 and a bye week with 22 points. On the God side, running backs LaShawn McCoy had a huge week with 33, while Jonathan Stewart finally broke out of the season with a nice pickup of 20 from the flex position. Wide receiver Terrell Pryor's 23.5 set up the Gods going into Monday Nighter, but QB Carson Palmer came up short with only 14 points, and they fall by 2 points with a score of 138.5 to 136.5. Lastly, Dak to the Future versus the winless Cochrane Snake Eyes. Could this be the week the losing streak ends? Could it? This was another close match, but against all odds, QB Matt Ryan managed to bring in 27 points, while wideout Brandon Cooks returned to his week 1 form with a nice 26.5, making up for the rest of their active roster being a little flat. For Dak, Ben Roethlisberger once again fails them with only 11 points, but you know, a torn meniscus will do that to you. Running back Lamar Miller was the shining light this week, as he more than doubles his previous week 1 season high score with 29.5 this week. But wide receiver Demaryius Thomas's 3.5 points, and the Panther D going into the red with -6, ultimately resulting in a loss. The Snake Eyes finally get one in the win column.
Woo woo!
With a 94.5 to 83.5 victory. That's it. I'm going to go pray for a Jay's miracle, so join me again next week for another rousing rendition of This Week in PPL.
Feel so empty without me.